Hey everyone, welcome to today's Hangout. We're going to be talking about the purpose of pre-launches because I'm sure a lot of you out there are probably wondering, like, what the heck is going on? We're in a pre-launch, and a lot of people, when they get involved in a business, they're automatically assuming that the company is fully 100% ready to do business. Okay. Pre-launches, here's an example. I'm going to give a couple examples today, and then I'm going to go across the panel. Okay, here's one example that I want you to think about from a brick and mortar point of view. Okay, a lot of you have probably gone to strip malls or whatever, and you've seen stores that have paper in the window, and it's got a sign up saying whatever it is, and opening soon. Okay, that's what we call a pre-launch in brick and mortar. Okay, they're advertising that they're here, okay, and that they're coming soon, okay. And what's happening behind that paper is the construction of the interior. They're painting the walls, they're building cabinets, whatever it may be. They're constructing their store in the background. They're stocking the shelves. They're getting everything in place. They're getting all of their shipping stuff in place. They're putting in their POS system. All that kind of stuff. That's what's going in the background of these stores that say, maybe they're opening in 6 weeks, okay, and that's that's their pre-launch that's there, okay. So this is what I need you to think about when you look at what you're in, like such as Total Takeover. We are in a pre-launch. We started what we call a free launch, not free lunch, but a free launch, okay, and then we went into a pre-launch where we allowed people to actually continue building their database and inviting people to the program, but at that point get paid for it, okay? Now, we're still in that phase right now. The first payout is coming in just a couple of weeks from now, which is going to be March 15th, okay? And we are in the phase. Now, in the first part of the phase, we had a cutoff, okay? We went from January 26th to February 11th, and that was our first cutoff. And it's the process that we're going through with this company that's allowing people to make even more money, believe it or not, okay? Because what happens is the people that come into this during this pre-launch period that pay their $89, come in, they get set into the system, they get put into the matrix system that we have, and it allows them to float up above those people that are just still skeptical and looking. So it's building a cash flow for them. Okay, we've just now hit, midnight last night, we just hit our second cutoff. Every 2 weeks this happens. So anybody who upgraded during that time period floats up above everybody else. Okay, and this is how your income is being built. Okay, every 2 weeks we're doing that. So basically on the 15th of March, you're going to get paid twice, basically. You're going to get paid for January, and you're going to get paid for February. Now, this is all unofficial, but I have been told by Dave Lear that this is what's happening on March 15th. Tracy can probably, back that or whatever. But you got to remember, anything I say on here in regards to the company is unofficial. This is not a company official hangout. This is Carl and Friends hangout, right? We sit here and we talk about all kinds of things, right? So that's what we do here. And now the other example I want to use, I'm going to use a network marketing example, and this happened to me personally. Okay, so the company that I'm mentioning, and I'm giving them some kudos so they can go and pay me later. No, I'm just kidding. The company that I'm going to mention is Empower Network. Now, a lot of people have heard of Empower Network. Okay, Empower Network started off about 2.5 years ago. In their first 8 months, it was almost, I don't know, it was mayhem. That's all I can say. It was mayhem back then, okay? Everything wouldn't work. Their processors wouldn't work. Nothing was working for them, okay? And they struggled, and they struggled, and they struggled, okay? This is what happens in a pre-launch, okay? Now, 2.5 years later, okay? Now with me, let me just go back a second. I actually joined Empower Network on the 4th day, okay? And I was one of those people 2 years ago that goes, you know what, these guys just can't get their act together. I just cannot go forward with this. And what did I do? I did like a lot of people do. I walked away, okay? I walked away, okay? Now, My sponsor, and yes, you can pay me for this little kudos too, Alex Zubarev. My sponsor, Alex Zubarev, said, don't leave. He says, just don't leave. And I go, you know what? They haven't got their act together. I can't do it. So I left. Well, 2.5 years later, Empower Network has now created 14 millionaires in 2.5 years. And my sponsor, Alex Zubarev, is on the verge of his first $1 million, okay, in that company. Why? Because Alex didn't walk away. He didn't walk away. He fought through all of the crap that was there. Why did I say this? Where are we now? We have people saying, man, you know what? These guys in TTO just can't get it together. They can't get all this stuff going. They can't, you know what? This is what happens in pre-launch. You know, there's a lot of challenges that happen. But I'm telling you, with this program here, as frustrated as all of us, I'm frustrated, Tracy's frustrated, Joan's frustrated, everybody's frustrated, okay? You're listening to this, you're frustrated. You know what? It's all part of the process, okay? We are in pre-launch. We haven't officially launched yet. This means that these guys are still painting the walls. They're still putting the cupboards up. They're still stocking the shelves. You're always saying, oh, you know, they don't have all the products in there. Of course not, because you know what? They have until May 1st to do that. They're putting everything together. Those of you that are looking in your back office now, you will see, guess what? Another button popped up. It says voucher, okay? It says voucher. I'm going to let Tracy explain that because she's actually the one that came up with the brilliant idea. So I'm going to let her talk about that in a second. So this is what pre-launch is all about, okay? You got to go through the bumps and bruises, okay? The only ones that will succeed in business are those that are willing to take the bumps and bruises and be patient enough to watch the whole process come together. So that's my little take on the purpose of pre-launch. We're going to talk more about this. Tracy, let's go over to you so you can kind of explain what you know behind the scenes a little bit, what your thoughts are on the purpose of pre-launches, and you know, let everybody know about that little voucher thing. Let's throw that in too as well. Over to you.
Thanks, Carl. I can't remember. I've talked to so many people this morning. I can't remember what my brilliant idea was, but I'm sure you'll remind me. It'll come to me a little bit later. Yeah, you know, the pre-launch kind of name kind of got a bit of a bad rap, I think, over the last few years because a lot, you know, there's been a lot of this stuff that's come out that people have put websites up and called it pre-launch, and you know, it just has not kind of gone in the right direction. The pre-launch really does have a very definite role because you can't. This is an interesting scenario, and this is where people don't get it because people don't really know what goes on behind the scenes. And you're right, Carl. For whatever reason, I always seem to gravitate to the corporate core in every company that I've been in, pretty much through my career in this industry, because I guess of my corporate background. And you know, we're pioneers, really. If you take a look at it, we're pioneers, and it's for the mentally tough. If you're not mentally tough, well, then maybe you should just wait, because we are the pioneers that are there. We're groundbreakers. We're the people that put the company really on the map. And the company can't be a company if it doesn't have its members. And so it really is the same group of people, kind of, that you'll see as being the first people into a company. And they're there for a reason, because they're the people, generally speaking, not always, but generally speaking, are the people that have a lot of history in this industry, who've got a lot of experience in this industry, who've got a lot of input through their past experiences in this industry, just like we do. So you know, we can be the voice for the company in a unofficial way. I'm not saying that we speak for the company because we don't have that right to do so. However, we can be part of the communication source for the company. We are also the eyes of the company when we see things that maybe need to be corrected or adjusted, or you know, where we collect the information from the body, from the field. So we're the sounding board that can bring things back and filter it so that it makes sense. Because here's the challenge is for people, the general member, and I'm trying. I don't want to put any stereotype on them, but people don't understand what does go on behind the scenes, how much work it is in every infinite detail. And it's not a microwave kind of a deal. It's kind of like it's and Carl can vouch for this because he's an IT guy. You can't test a system until it's live. You just don't have that ability. You can surmise what it's going to do. You can predict what it's going to do, but you never know for real what it's going to do until it's an actual live fact. And then you can go and adjust and correct things as you go. So I mean, you plan for the best, and you plan for any things that glitches or things that may come up. You get your leadership to recognize them, bring them to the back to the source, and then have them adjust that. And what other people don't understand as well is when you say, hey, well, just do this or just do that. It's a process that goes through, because just doing one thing could be a catalyst for so many other things that don't fall into place properly within the structure, or maybe not at this time. So it is a real point-by-point process of developing and building the backbone of the company, and this is where it's done. So you have to be mentally tough, first of all, to be at this point in a company. People will get in, and here's where it goes back to. It all goes back to the matrix programs and the marketing strategies, as we talked about in a previous hangout a few days ago, about it's the marketing tactic. Get in first, be at the top. It doesn't matter. The company, is relying on the members to build the organization, to build the foundation of the company. And so when people come in and do nothing, it does nothing for the company, it does nothing for the member. And so there's a falsification of what the expectation becomes at that point. So, the company's doing its best to build a solid structure for the members and for the company to succeed, because they can't have one without the other. It's an absolute balance of both parties. And so, people are really quick to put blame on the company where you're not doing this and you're not doing that. Well, maybe they are, but they have to do something else first for that to actually take place. So, people can be very critical, and I can be critical too. I mean, I've got a lot of experience, as Carl said, in a lot. Yeah, exactly. You know what? We want it right now. We want it right now. And you know what? In the defense of the member, we need to make money. And so, the members can't make money if we can't function properly with the company. Now, and going back on other components of that, is the industry has changed dramatically over the last, I would say, 3 years specifically, 2 to 3 years. And what we used to just be able to do, you used to be able to just put up a website, you could get a merchant account. I mean, you could go and you could make sales all day long and run your business. And of course, that's where what happened was companies would do that. They would literally take your money, pull the website down the next day, and be gone, and literally evaporated off the internet. See, the regulations, because of that now, the governing bodies are really making it difficult for companies to actually be legitimate companies. So there's a lot of hoops that they have to jump through. Getting a merchant account is really difficult. And for the people that say, well, why can't you just do this and why can't you just do that? Well, why don't you just build your own business and find out why? Because it doesn't operate like that. You could get a domestic account, and you know what? You get a large group of people coming in a very rapid fashion. They still are going to hold your account for X amount of days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever that agreement is. Typically, it's 3 weeks. And so, people start doing chargebacks. You're going to be shut down in a domestic kind of situation. So, you've got these domestic accounts that people will say, why can't you just do this? Well, they don't do it for a reason. So you go to the bigger and better merchant accounts, the ones that you've got more. The company has security, and the company is getting security for the member. For the member, remember that, it's for the member, so that the member can get their money, so that the company can continue to operate. And it's not, it's for both parties. Remember, this is a balancing act that's very, very difficult. And so along with that comes some pretty hefty fees, but it's all securing for the member. And, so again, it's not like it used to be, and that's where people are basing this on, well, why can't you do this and why can't you do that? These guys are working really hard to secure something that's going to be long term. Now, the people, and this is typical, There's going to be that group that comes in, they park themselves, they'll do absolutely nothing, and that's kind of that where I'm not a real big fan of that get in free kind of thing and do it later. I'm really not a fan of that. There is a strategy to it though, and that's what these guys have developed a strategy with, and have with the $5 trial period and everything like that. There is a definite strategy, and it's a little bit different out of the realm of what we've been used to. So we have to cut them a little bit of slack too. So is it gonna? If you look at the whole, look at the time frame that we've been under so far. Some people here have probably been in this only right for maybe a couple of weeks and are expecting mountains to move. We've been here right from the beginning and helped to develop the company because that's what we do. That's what I do. I love the challenge of being a pioneer in this industry. I love working with company owners and being part of that corporate structure so that I can lend my expertise because this isn't my first rodeo, guys. It's not. I've been through several of them. And, it's that communication and willingness to work together that makes the ship move forward. And people have to be patient. They have to be able to be positive in nature. They have to have a mentally tough mind to know that, each step of the way is going to have its own challenges in the pre-launch format. And you know what? These guys were smart by, excuse me, they were smart by putting the launch to May 1st because you know what? There's a whole lot of things that need to come in before that. And Carl, you were right. That's the same thing as stocking your shelves. It's training your staff. It's opening the doors for, that official cut the ribbon, you're ready to go. People have to really understand the process, and I guess maybe that's where maybe we fall a bit short in explaining it to them and maybe visualizing it for them because, we've been through this, and do we get frustrated? Absolutely. But you know what? It's frustration because it's the unknown that we don't know about. And that's where the people in the industry get frustrated because they don't know. And if we can communicate better, and I would say that communication is key, and no communication is complete failure. And you know what? We can always be better at our communication from every point, from company, from leader, from distributor, back. It's a two-way street, and you can never point a finger in one direction because three more are pointing back at you. So it's a two-way street, and we all have to be better at that. And can't just lay the blame in one corner because you know what? It's all of us. We're in this together. It's a relationship industry, and one can't exist without the other. So we have to make sure that we're doing our part correctly so the company can do their part correctly. And you know what? It's a balance, and then we'll work it out along the way, right? We'll just work it out. So anyways, let's go on with that for now, Carl. I'm sure you got something more to add to that. And yeah, there's the new tab in the back. We're gonna get a little bit more of information on that later. I think I'd like to let the company actually talk about that. They should be sending out some communication on that as well. So we're gonna leave that alone just for now, okay?
Okay, that's fine. And you know what? Speaking of which, there's a couple of things. Okay, I actually wanted to kind of give a public apology to Dave Lear and Wallace Nuanez and Val Smith because you ever see that commercial about the bull in the china shop? Well, that's me. I'm just in a disguise. I look like a bull in there, but that's actually me. That's how I am in this industry. I'm a very, very aggressive marketer. I fight for my team. I fight for me. I fight for everybody. But sometimes I can get a little overzealous, And and I don't blame these guys for not wanting to communicate back with me because sometimes I can get pretty aggressive. I've had to sit on Tracy's couch there many times where she's had to psychologically reprogram me sometimes because I just kind of lose it, right? But I'm very, very passionate. I'm a very passionate marketer. Anybody who knows me knows that. I'm just very aggressive about what I do, okay? So I do apologize to those guys because I've been a handful for them for the last couple of weeks, and I know they know that. I just want them to know. I do fight for everybody in this company to try and get answers, and just sometimes I go a little bit too hard on it. So I just wanted to throw that out a little bit to them to let them know that, you know what, I am still a nice guy. I still want to be here, and I still want to be your friend type thing, right? But I am going to get answers. I'm going to try and get answers. I'm not like the Michael Moore type guy, but you know, I'm a guy who wants to get the answers. I'm not here to pull out all kinds of crap, right? I just want answers. And again, you know, I'm like everybody else here. I want to have I want this thing going as fast as possible. You know, we had huge momentum, okay? And this happens, so I want you all to understand this, okay? We had huge momentum that came in because we were bringing in the free that were coming in. Then we went to the pre-launch where that was the converting stage, okay? Now, did we drop the ball on a few things? Yeah, but that happens. It's pre-launch. We're learning the process as we go along. Sometimes, like Tracy says, it looks good when you do a test run someplace, but when you put it live, it goes differently, okay? That's what happened to us, okay? Can communication be better? It can always be better, okay? That can always be better, but sometimes, you know, you've got these guys who are trying to get everything together and forget to send some communication out. That's when Carl gets riled up, turns into a bull, goes after them. Tracy puts me on the couch, calms me down, and then we go to them with the actual, can you guys please just send out maybe a couple of words to tell people, you know, let's not get Carl going psychotic all over the place, you know? I'm tired of having him on my couch all the time, right? So,
well, Carl, here's the point. Sort of interrupt you, but here's the point: is that, you know, being part of a corporate team, or because that's where I've always sort of existed at, is that you know, you have to be a really good listener. You have to be a very good listener to your members, but you have to hear what's really going on, because you know it's about a whole lot of things. But you have to be able to be smart enough, or at least be a good enough detective, to really put it down into what really is going on. And some of it's just frustration, and it's just talk. Some of it has technical merit, and then you have to be able to put that in a format. You have to come with a solution, and this is what I learned in my corporate business and my corporate industry. And this is what, you know, you can come and you can complain all day long, but complaints get you nowhere. They just don't. They get you absolutely nowhere. However, if you have a solution, and Carl, you're very good with solutions, by the way, because you always say this and then you say that, right? I'm going to give you kudos where kudos is due, because you always do have the solution. And that's what we need to do is going forward, but keeping that in mind with what is pertinent at this moment. That might be a really good solution. However, that's a good solution for tomorrow. We need this solution today. So, you know, when you have to be an analyst, sorry, I was trying to have a hard getting that one out. You have to be an analyst in determining what is at hand, what is the issue at hand that we need to deal with. Is it people-oriented? Is it commission-oriented? Is it IT-oriented? Is it, you know, is it corporate-oriented? Like, what is it? And so, you know, you have to really be good at and I'll tell you one thing that I do like is that, you know, you can never be a knee-jerk person as a corporate entity, and that is you're always chasing your tail. And for those who don't know what the knee-jerk is you don't give enough thought to it, and you react. And when you be getting into in a corporate scenario, and I know this for a fact, whenever you start getting into a reaction knee-jerk scenario, you are forever in that mode. You are not proactive, you're reactive, and that is a very dangerous place to be in business, because you need to make decisions based on what's best for the company, what's best for the members, what is the right thing, what is the correct thing to do, and how it's going to impact not only today but down the road. So this is where, I mean, I guess I can see outside of the immediate, and I can see, you know, and I always say I bring my black cat to the table, because I want to ask all the questions, the what ifs and whatevers, and I don't like to be a what if or whatever person. However, it has its place in a corporate setting, because if people do this, I'm a clicker. Like I said, when they put that link up on the 26th of January, it was up for, I think, about 3 or 4 minutes. I think I was the first person to click on it. And they said, why did you do that? And I said, because it was there. And I had to do it because everyone else was going to ask me about it. So, you know, that's the scenario, is like, what if somebody does this? what does this mean to the company as a whole, and what ramifications does that have to the body of the membership overall. So you know what, you have to think with a mind like that to be part of operating a company, because it is so multifaceted. It isn't just, well, why don't they just do that? I mean, it's so much more complex than that. So anyway, sorry, Carl, I interrupted you.
No, that's fine. And again, you know, that's kind of where that bull in the china shop comes in, right? You know, that's the knee jerk type thing. Sometimes I knee jerk, and you know, but again, I'm a demanding guy. So, Joan, let's get your take on things. You've been through a few of these as well. So, you know, just give your take on, you know, the experiences you've had with pre-launches and what people need to expect from a different point of view.
Okay, well, I'm going to hit it in a different way. When a woman becomes pregnant, she has a 9-month waiting period before that child is born. Does she stamp her feet and get all upset because the child isn't here in 4.5 months? If she did, and it happened, that child probably wouldn't survive. Okay, take it into the scenario of what we're doing here. People can stamp their feet, they can criticize, they can do all sorts of things, share their frustrations, but they aren't in the inner room. They are trying to iron out everything that needs to be ironed out. And so they really have no right, they have no basis for putting themselves in the same situation as corporate, because they don't have all of the information. So if they're calling corporate out and saying, this should have been launched, we should be, you know, on track with this, they only need to sit in a boardroom for 15 minutes and they'll change their mind. How do I know this? I've got 2 websites that I'm waiting for them to come up online. I was told it would be about 6 weeks. Well, it's 4.5 months later and those websites aren't up yet. Why? Because of all of the inner problems that have resulted from transitioning from one type of website to another, all of the things that they have to do. So I can sit and spit bullets, but what good is it going to do me if the website comes up and it doesn't meet my expectations? So we want to get busy with Total Takeover. We want to start making money. Every one of us do. But the beauty of our company is that we're being paid while we're in pre-launch. So what is the complaint about? And true, we don't have maybe everything in the back office we want right at the moment, but that's coming little by little, and by the time we launch, everything will be there. So I think it's important to give some breathing room to corporate. They're doing the very best they can, and you should be so happy that you're in the pre-launch phase. Being in pre-launch really takes your business to the next level, because you're here in the beginning, you understand everything that's going on, you're in the midst of the changes and the things that are happening, so you're not coming in after everything is all prepared. It's like a parent that wants to adopt a child. They adopt a child after the fact, when that child is born, so they never had the experience of going through that 9 months preparatory that a mother goes through. So there's something missing. Well, it's the same in this launch. We are right in the midst of the nitty-gritty, the pre-launch. We're watching the company grow. We're watching it evolve. We're getting our ducks in a row. We should be out there looking for people to bring them in, so that when we do go live, hey, not only is corporate going to be smoothed out, we will be too, because we're prepared to get down to business and build our business properly. So We really need to support corporate. We really need to appreciate what they're doing, and they're doing it for us, and we have to remember that.
Thanks, Joanna, and you're absolutely right. I go back and I think about the story I shared with, and this is the story. So I want you to think about this. The story I shared with you about Empower Network when I joined with them 2.5 years ago. My sponsor was Alex Zubarev, who fought the battle all the way through. He fought through everything, never ever gave up. Back then, 2.5 years ago, I was like a lot of people. I wasn't going to put up with that. I was going to wait until everything happened. And what happened is I joined back and reactivated a year later. A year later. So I had no story. The only story I had was from there forward. Alex had the whole story of being in the battlefield and fighting through everything, thick and thin, to make almost $1 million in 2.5 years with that company. That's the story. And this is what you can start creating. We're creating our story. I mean, all of us here on this panel have been here since January 5th, the day of conception of this program. And we've been fighting the battle all the way through. We've seen the great momentum that's come with it. We've seen the leveling out in the temporary period until they went to pre-launch, where everybody started paying, and then we started seeing an up climb again, and then we started seeing the peaks and valleys, which you always see. Always. Okay? Even today, we've had discussions, at least Tracy and I have had discussions about the amount of members that we have in here. I don't know, there's 3,800 members that are in here. At one point, we had 4,000 members, 4,000 paid members, and now we're down to 3,750 or something. Is that a bad thing? No, it's not. It's typical. It's these people that decided to walk away are the ones that just don't have the patience enough to be on the battlefield. They want to go and they want to sit on their couch and they want to eat potato chips and they want to watch soap operas or movies or play video games or whatever it is, okay, and wait for everything just to fall in place for them, okay? Now, here's something I'm going to share with you, okay? From 7 o'clock in the morning till who knows what time at night, I'm on that battlefield on and off. Here's the other thing. You know how I talked about the guy who sits on a couch there and watches TV and stuff like that? Well, I do that. I take a 2 to 3 hour break every day from my business while my wife is at work, and I go and I play my video games. Now, why do I do that? 2 reasons. I do it to relieve the stress of the day, and 2, so I can just get away from things and enjoy the things that nobody else can do because they're sitting in a goddamn cubicle someplace at work, working for somebody else, telling them how much money they're allowed to make. Okay, sorry about the GD. Sorry, that was a PG thing that kind of slipped out. But the point is that, I have a tagline, living life on my terms. So I live life on my terms, whichever those terms are. I put in my time every day. I go on the battlefield. I fight for me. I fight for my friends. I fight for my referrals. I fight for my upline, and I fight for the company. Because I'm here, thick or thin. I've unpacked my bags January 5th, and I'm here. And the only way I leave is if this company fails me. It's not because I'm going to quit, because I'm not. I get frustrated. I talk to Tracy. I say, you know what, I can't do this anymore. Tracy throws me on the couch and says, wait a second, Carl, let me tell you a story. And then all of a sudden, I'm back to normal again, right? It's, sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need somebody, you need to get on somebody's couch because you're going to get frustrated. This is not a perfect world. This is not, this business here is going to be a lot more stressful on you than working for somebody else. Why is that? The reason is that it's your responsibility now to start building your future. When you go and work for somebody else, you're leaving it in their hands to do it. You're saying, okay, I'm going to go and do whatever you tell me to do, and in 2 weeks you can give me a paycheck. And then I'm going to turn around, I'm going to do the same thing again, and in 2 weeks you can give me a paycheck. Okay? Here, you're the person writing the check, and you're the person receiving the check. Okay? You write yourself your own paycheck. What you want that paycheck to be is going to be totally up to you. But I want you to think back to that first scenario I gave you. Okay? Starting a business online like Total Takeover, okay, is like opening up a brick and mortar. You're going to go out, you're going to pay some money, okay, whatever that money is. That money might be for the cost of your sign that's going to go above the real estate that you're going to run your store in, okay? Then you're going to tape up the windows, and you're going to go inside, and you're going to start building your business. You're going to start by painting the walls and all that kind of stuff. Then you're going to start putting up the shelves and putting all the shelving in and stuff like that. This is what we're doing here. What we're doing is we're going out and we're hiring employees, so to speak. Okay? We're hiring sales reps, whatever you want to call it, to build a force together and go out and absolutely blow this thing out of the water and create as much income as we possibly can. We're building a sales force. Okay? You do the same thing in the store. Go ahead, Joe.
I like to make a comment. Everybody's familiar with the big store called Target. How long have they been in Canada? Not very long. Why are they leaving? Because they didn't do things properly. They just didn't. And because they didn't measure up to the standards of what Canadians want, they're history. They're gone. What about all of the people they employed? Where are they going to go now? You see what I'm trying to say? We want this business to work for you. That's why we want all our ducks in a row. We don't want to be another Target that's in business one day and gone the next. You don't want that either. So you have a responsibility to support the company, to support corporate, to be patient as they're doing what they need to do, and be building your business. And the main thing that you want to be doing right now is introducing to people the concept of what Total Takeover is all about. That is the most important thing right now. Our industry needs Total Takeover because they have something of value to offer network marketers that no other company has. Unfortunately, we live in a microwave society, as was brought out in other calls. Everybody wants everything instantly, right now. But instant doesn't work. Have you ever tasted microwave instant potatoes? They are absolutely horrible. Is that what you want to eat for the rest of your life? Or would you like to sink your teeth into a beautifully crisp baked potato with butter and bacon chips on it and a little bit of cheese on top? Wouldn't that taste much, much better? Be patient. That's what Total Takeover is bringing to the table.
You're making me hungry.
Oh, you are on fire, man. Joe, you are on fire today, man.
I just want to comment on that for a second, Trace, if I could. I just want to comment on that. You know, she talked about Target, okay? And again, this is nothing against Target or anything, but it is a very similar scenario that marketers do. If something doesn't work, they just walk away. Now, could Target have fixed that? Yeah, they could have, right? You know, why is Starbucks still here? That's an American company. Why is Walmart still here? That's an American company. You know why? Because they went and they sat down and they had a think tank and they found out what it was that Canadians like, okay? The thing is that we have to do is we have to find out, because we deal with people all around the world in our business, we have to find out what attracts them. Every country, people in every country are going to be attracted a different way. We have to find out what the whole thing is that they're looking for. You know, I have many groups in my business from different parts of the world, and each one of them that I talk to have a different perception of what they're looking for here. But you know what the common goal is? To get out of debt. That's the common goal. So what we need to focus on is what the wants and that everybody wants. And that's why these kind of pre-launches are in place, because it takes time to develop those relationships with people. You can't just open your doors and hire a staff and just go right out the door without training anybody, or without having everybody exposed to what they're doing, without that kind of information. And this is what most companies do. They start up and they bring everybody in, and everybody joins and goes, now what? Now what do we do? Right? So this is a big problem. And this is what we're trying to address here, and this is why pre-launches are really good. Now, you know, I'm hoping that a lot of people are going to come and comment on this. I know we don't have the call-in show or anything like that, but comment. I don't know, send me a Skype, send Tracy a Skype or whatever, I don't care. Go to ttoradio.info and you can send information there. We'll read it and we'll get back to you. We'll even address it on the Hangouts here. Now, before we close out the show here, I want to make sure we cover a couple of things.
I don't want to close out yet. I got more to say.
Oh, I know you do. I just want to make sure, I'm gonna hand it over to you for a second to comment on this, but I want to make sure all of us panelists that we talk about a few things, such as the $5 trial, what the value of that is too. So put your 2 cents in on this this topic here, and then we'll change over to that, Tracy.
Yeah, you know, Carl, we're entrepreneurs. We're risk takers, right? We're not happy with the status quo. We're risk takers. And, you know, you got to remember that when companies start up like this, there's two groups of people that come to the table. There's the seasoned professionals, and then there's the guys that come in that throw their hat in the ring. They'll pay and they'll wait to see what happens. And, you know, that's the group of people that will withdraw. The people that are the seasoned veterans, the people that know how to build their business, they're the ones that are there to offer valuable content to help a company to grow and develop. And those are the people that will, over time, like your story with Empower, those are the people that reap the benefits because they were the risk takers. They saw the value. They knew the people behind the scenes. They stuck it out, and they were there to get through the peaks and the valleys and the potholes and everything. And those are the people that are so valuable to a company because those are the people that have got the content and the input that they've been around the block more than once, that they can say, they can offer, you know, their support and input. So, you know, to have that group of people to fall away, well, those are the people that weren't going to do anything in the first place anyways. They were just going to here to throw in a couple of bucks to just wait. As I said, waiting is cancer to your business. They're going to wait and see what happens. Well, guess what? We're in pre-launch. We're in a developmental mode here, for Pete's sakes. You know what? If you're expecting the moon to show up, you know, and it's still, you know, middle of the night, it's not going to happen here because, you know, we're still developing the whole product of the process. So, you know, people are free to make their own choices. We're not telling you to do whatever you want. But you know what? I know that the best rewards are for the risk takers that stick it through because they're mentally tough enough. They've got the experience, and the only way you get experience is by gaining it. So you know what? Do what you did before. Jump from program to program. Do exactly what you did before. Don't learn anything. Don't do anything, and keep doing that same cycle over and over and over again. However, if you want to be part of the structure, come to the webinars and listen to Val every single night. He has a little training session in there, mini training sessions on every single webinar. He talks about something different. I've never been on so many webinars. I mean, I've been on every webinar he's done since I've known him. We'll save maybe a handful. And I love what he has to offer because he is who he is because of his experience. And he shares that. He did that last night. He shared about who he was, what he was, and why he was that way, and how he got out of that mold, who he became, and in spite of himself, really. And when people can learn to get out of the way of themselves, that's the biggest challenge for us, I think, individually. is that we need to get out of the way of ourselves, and you know what? Learn to welcome some of the pain that comes along with the game. And it's, Joan, you had some great analogies today. You really shone above everybody else here today, I think, in what you had as stories and analogies. And it really is about that child developing. By the way, I am adopted, so I understood that very completely. But you know what it is? It's about developing your story, and everybody in this industry as a network marketer has to have a story. If you don't have one, you're just a salesman peddling another bottle of pills. It's all about the story. And Joan, you hit it so dead on today. It's the concept. It's all about the concept, about what we're developing here. It's not about, you know, well, that video didn't show up and it didn't work properly for me, so I'm quitting. It's what we're developing here in a pre-launch as a concept. That's what we are all about, and that's what Val's all about when he talks about the esoteric principles of marketing and why he was so successful way back. That's what developed him as an entity in this industry. And that people that don't get that, don't get that. And you know what? Until you get it, then you won't get anywhere, and you won't be starting to build your own brand. That's the story that you need to develop, excuse me, as a network marketer in this industry. And you're not going to do it by just throwing, you know, $89 in the ring and saying, well, where's my spillover? You know what? Go back to your day job. Sorry if that hurts anybody, but you know what? You have to be able to understand the concept and be able to really visualize it. And Joan, you hit so many things dead on the head today that, you know what, I'm so grateful for what you had for input today. Go ahead.
Well, thanks, Tracy. You know what, I've been in network marketing for 25 years, so I've had my what would you call it, my failures and my successes. But one thing that I have learned is that when you're building a house, you're going to look for a carpenter or a contractor that is top-notch. You don't want second best. You don't want third best. So you're going to search out who you want to build your house. I've been in network marketing companies that I stayed with them, but they crumbled underneath me. And so I've learned that you really need to do your due diligence. And we couldn't have three better guys in the industry. Val and Dave and Wallace know what they're doing. That's why they're taking their time doing it. You don't want a slapstick house that's going to fall down when a big wind comes along. Our company is here to stay, and we want to make sure it is. That's why we're taking the time and the effort to stay with the company, watch it develop, and be behind them to support them in any way we possibly can, so that when everything is said and done, we'll have a company that we're proud to take ownership of.
Well, you know what? You're also going to get this. This is like an education for people too. Okay, for anyone who has ever thought about starting their own brick and mortar business. Okay, you get to go along and you get to travel and see everything that happens from the start to the finish in here of development of a company, because this is what it is. We're in the developmental phases of this company. Okay, and I can't explain it any better than that. It's all about the development, and this is where you're going to learn a whole lot of things. You know, this is why I brought up the thing with Alex and Empower today, because, you know, I missed out on that, and that's actually missed opportunity too, because who knows what I could have done had I stuck it out for the first year with that. I could have been in a totally different place today because of that. Maybe I'd be here, maybe I wouldn't be here. I don't know. You know, whatever path it is that I took brought me here. But I can assure you one thing, that I am not going to pass up the opportunity twice. Okay? I am not that stupid. Okay? Regardless of what some people might say, my wife, whatever, right? You know, it happens, right? I do make some stupid decisions. I've made bonehead decisions, okay? Lots of them. I'm a guy. We do that, right? So, but, you know, the thing is that I've learned a lot in this industry. Being in here the years that I have been in, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of poor choices on things, you know, because I didn't get it. You know, when you don't understand how a pre-launch works, I can see where you're saying, well, you know, this isn't working, because you're looking at it from the wrong angle. You're looking at it from the finished product already. We're not even finished. We haven't even put the paint on the product yet. You know, it's still naked, right? You know, so we gotta make sure that we dress it properly and that it's presentable enough to attract people. Okay? You know, it's like a mannequin. You know, a mannequin is nothing unless it has clothes on it, unless it's presented properly, right? So you have to look at everything, like all the examples that Joan gave. You know, the corporate advice that Tracy gave everybody here, and then whatever I shared with you guys, right? You know, I mean, we all have experience in this industry. We've all been around. We've all been through the pre-launch. Maybe you've never experienced a pre-launch before. Maybe this doesn't make a lot of sense to you. And this is why we brought these scenarios out, you know, of the brick and mortar with just a sign up and the you know, the paper on the windows. You know, the thing about what happens with the ups and downs. In our industry, remember, we're living in a virtual world here, and we're working in a virtual world. So you can't actually see the structure. You know, we have a back office. You start to see things populate in there. But when you log in for the very first time and you have no idea what a pre-launch is, you log in and you think that's the finished product. Okay? And I get that. You know, many of you may not know, but all of our capture pages have all changed now. You know, when you fill out the capture pages, it actually goes into the sales process of the $5 or the $89. It gives you the choices now. It tells you what you get for $89, everything, and then it tells you what you get for $5. Okay? You know, you make a $2 commission. If you take a $5 14-day trial, you'll make a $2 commission that gets put into, I believe, the voucher thing, and we'll wait for the company to announce that, but it gets put into, let's say, a pool for right now. The money gets put into a pool, and then it can be used towards your payment for your upgrade or stuff like that. And again, unofficial, okay? This is unofficial information, but what we've heard, okay? Company will announce that. But the point I'm making is that anybody who comes in for the 14-day trial can actually make $2 a sale for anybody who upgrades to the $5 in there. I don't know about the $89. I don't think they make anything off that. It's just the trials, okay? So the point I'm trying to make is that things are developing, and you have to have faith in your business, okay? Not the total takeover business, your business, because you are actually the CEO of your business. You are just selling Total Takeover. You're selling their products, okay? But you're the business. You're the owner, okay? Val, Wallace, and Dave own Total Takeover, okay? You are like a subcontractor. You've come in, it's your company, you're going out and creating a sales force, and you are selling and promoting their business, and they're paying you a compensation for that. That's basically how it works, okay? So you're getting paid for selling the resources and that they have. I don't know how to put it any other way, but understand the mechanics of this, that this is a building process that we're in. We're not officially launched. We're going to have hiccups. Somebody's going to forget the paintbrush, and we're not going to be able to paint the walls today, okay? Someone's going to forget to put the glass on the shelves, so there's no shelves there to put the product on. Somebody's going to forget something. And you know what? We just go out, we get what we need to do, and then we put it in, okay? Sometimes there's a delay. I don't know. This is the only way that I can kind of explain this. So I don't know if there's anything else that you guys want to add to this. If you do, chime in right now and give your final thoughts.
Well, you know, Carl, we're human. I mean, let's face it, we're human. We're not machines, and you know what? Sometimes we do make mistakes. You know, and we can't be chastised for that, and that's the best part of this industry is the humanness that we bring to it. And I think that we've done a really good job of kind of giving a sort of a little better snapshot about, and great analogies by everyone today, about being able to to visualize what it is, and maybe we are too demanding. What I would challenge anybody out there that is putting up demands and criticisms to go and start up a company like these guys have done. Put their neck on the line, put their money on the line, and everything else along with it, to give everybody an opportunity. And that's what this is about, giving people the opportunity for $89 or even $5. I mean, for the $5 deal here, I mean, if you want to go out and work your hiney off for 2 weeks, go get your membership paid for with those $2 deals. I mean, that's not, I mean, it's work. It's the same thing. It's you're selling a $5 deal or you're selling an $89 deal, but they've given you an opportunity to do either one now. So again, it's another opportunity within the opportunity. So like, what more do you need? To sit on the couch and say, well, I don't have any spillover? You know what? That's what we're trying to train people to get out of that mindset. And the ones that are saying that, I will put my life on the line, so to speak, to say that I will bet you that not one of those have been to even a webinar. They haven't watched the recordings. They haven't gone and watched any of the video training in the back office. But where's my commission? What did you do? I mean, it's an action and a reaction. It's that flow of energy. You have to do something to get something, and that's the mentality that has been bred in this industry over the last 2-3 years, and that's exactly what we're trying to combat and educate about. It's about getting all that garbage that came out, get in first, get at the top and pay your money and don't do anything, don't sponsor anybody. It's all a marketing tactic. And you hit the nail on the head the other day, Carl. I says, here's the best thing I can ever give you is just sign up and don't do anything but send your link out to everybody. And you know what? You don't have to sponsor anybody, but just share your link. You know what? It's just all in marketing tactics, you guys. And once you understand that, is that those people that are telling you you don't have to sponsor anybody, that's a marketing tactic because you do. So get it straight. So, I think the bottom line today really is I think we've done a really, really good job at shedding some light on about the birthing process. Like you said, Joan, it really is a birthing process. And, you can't, you have to allow the child to develop with the input from the parents and, from the godparents and from the aunts and uncles about the right way to, to develop this child. And with everybody's input, then we allow this child to grow to maturity, and everybody reaps the benefits from that, right?
I just want to bring out one point. Val and Dave and Wallace have got the reputation on the line. If this blows up in their face, then they've got the whole internet looking at them and saying, what's your next failure going to be? They don't want that. They want you to know that they're trustworthy, they're honest, they're going to do what they say they're going to do, they're company leaders, they're corporate leaders, and they're going to show us what they're going to bring to the table. So what we have to do is we have to patiently wait until all of these things are available for us, and in the meantime support what they're doing.
Absolutely, and I'm gonna just add a couple of things here. First of all, you are a company owner, and the things that you need to focus on, and which everybody seems to focus incorrectly on, is don't focus on the people that are looking. Focus on the people that have committed. Okay, some of you may have life changers in your downline. That's your focus. Your focus are the people that are actually committed to building the business with you. The life or the pre-enrollees that are there, these are people that are just window shopping for right now. You're going to have a lot of these people that are going to window shop until May 1st. They're going to wait to see if this company launches and actually goes forward. They're waiting to see if it crashes and burns right now or whether it makes it to their launch date. And I'm telling you, there's probably 100,000 of them, maybe more. And then those that haven't even registered are still watching. They want to wait. You know what? They've put everything on hold. They put reminders on to say, hey, you know what? Let's take a look at this thing on May 1st. I want to see if if these guys plummet to the earth or whether they go to the stratosphere. This is what they're going to do. And then when the moment that our rocket is launched, they're coming in. You remember a few hangouts ago I talked about the ripple effect, okay? I talked about high tide coming in. You know, the waves are coming in, they're getting bigger and bigger, and everybody's waiting for that tsunami, right? The tsunami is so far away right now, okay? Because in a pre-launch, tsunamis never happen in a pre-launch. Never. They happen after the opening, okay? That's when everything happens. They want to see if it's a success or if it's a failure. Now, whether you think it's a success or a failure now, that's totally up to you. I look at this as being one of the biggest successes so far in the pre-launch phase of any business. I've seen a lot of pre-launches go, but I've never seen a pre-launch that has had that many registered members. Now here's the other fact, okay? We are still registering 300 to 400 or more people a day, pre-enrollees coming into this company. Why is that? You know why? Because they want to be on that notification list. They want to be there and be ready to hit that tsunami. They're all surfers, right? They got their surfboards up and they're waiting for that 40-foot wave to come in, and they want to ride that thing, okay? We've got us here. We're already sitting on the water waiting for the wave, okay? The rest of them are still on the beach there with their boards stuck in the sand and just looking out and seeing, you know, are the sharks going to get these guys or are they going to hit that wave, right? That's what's happening right now. They're waiting to see if we get eaten by the sharks, the great whites that are around us underneath our surfboards, right? Not going to happen, okay? Because of the momentum that we have created so far with this company, I see great things happening out of this thing. And I'm pretty good on my predictions. My gut's pretty good on things, okay? It's not very often my gut doesn't tell me a good thing. And because of what I've seen here, because of what I have in my database, my own personal database, the growth I have, the life changers I have, I've never had this many paid people in my database in a pre-launch before. What I have in my database, personal database right now, is usually what I have in the first 3 months after launch. Am I excited? No, I'm freaking stoked. Okay, I'm stoked as to what's going to happen here. Because I'm out there, I'm sitting right beside Tracy and Joan and everybody else. We're sitting there paddling in the water on our surfboards right now because we're going to be the first ones to hit that wave. And then everybody else is going to go, oh man, I missed the big wave of the century again. And they're going to say, oh, you know what, this is never going to happen again, I'm not going to do it. And they're going to try and wait 20 more years for something like this. And you're right, you are going to wait 20 more years. Because these things come around once, maybe twice in a network marketer's lifetime. I was fortunate enough, this is the second one for me. The first one was in my first few years back in the late 80s. Okay? That's when I hit my first one. Okay? So that's crazy. And I didn't even get a good one on that one. I got like the second or third wave. Here, I'm going to hit the tsunami. Okay? And any of you can do that too. You just got to decide. You got to decide what you want. It's that simple. If you don't want it, then you know what? You're never going to get it. It doesn't matter what company it is. You can wait. You know, I had a phone call today from a guy who said to me, he goes, you know what? I've been in this thing now for like almost 5 weeks, and I only have a few spillover. What's going on? And I says, well, you're not building your business. That's what's going on, right? If you're going to wait for me to build your business, I don't know how long you're going to wait. You know, I'm going to go out there and mass campaign, and maybe you'll get a lot of spillover for me. Maybe you won't. And that goes just for the same thing with all your sponsors. You know what? We're not here to build your business. We're here to work with you and help you build your business. And that has been the biggest problem in our industry. Everybody wants somebody else to do the work. I don't know. Do you go to work every day and you work in a cubicle every day and you're waiting for the guy on the other side of the cubicle to do your work so you can put your feet up all day or do Facebook or something like that and then get paid? I don't know. I don't know if that's you. All I know is that at the end of every month, my paycheck is always going to be bigger than all those people that sit in a cubicle because I won't settle for that money. Okay? And I put my time in, just like Tracy and Joan and everybody else does. I put my time in every day. I work this like a full-time job and more because I put more hours in. Sometimes I'm on the phone till 10 o'clock at night. Okay? Why? Because I want to live life on my terms, do things that I want to do, not be told when I can go and take a pee, not be told when I can go and have lunch or a coffee break, or when I can go home, or whether I can have the weekend off or not. I tell myself that. So, you going to take action? I guess it's up to you at this point. So, any last comments? I talk too much.
That along with success is here, just do it. And remember, Carl has a lot of very valuable things to bring to the table, and so does Tracy. And I think that if anybody really is looking for something to sink their teeth into, build with us now, because this is going to determine what your future is going to be.
Awesome. Thanks, Joan. You know what? We're going to close it out today. Thanks, everyone, for showing up here today. Whoever sent you this, whoever got you into, who told you to come and go to this takeout, here we go, this total takeover hangout today. You know, get back to that person who invited you, okay? And if you're already in and you're still a skeptic, you're still unsure, please make up your mind, man. Because you know what? You either want to do it or you don't. Okay? There's no more waiting. You've been in here long enough now. If you've registered, you're a pre-enrollee and you've been in here for a while. If what we've shown you and shared with you up to this date hasn't shown you enough support and care, I don't know what's going to do it for you. I really don't. So just do it. Like Joan said, just do it. Okay? And I promise you, working this alongside all of us, utilizing the webinars, the hangouts, the crazy antics, everything that's there, people are going to love you for it. Have a great afternoon, everybody.